Russia suffered significant losses of military equipment, both in the air and on the ground over the past 24 hours, the Ukrainian Armed Forces said in their latest update. The Ukrainian military said on Friday that during the previous day, Russia had lost 18 tanks, helicopters and fighter jets, as well as 14 artillery systems and 8 multiple launch rocket systems, MLRS. It said Russia's biggest losses were against Kremlin-orchestrated and Donetsk in the east of the country, adding that Ukrainian anti-aircraft missile units destroyed 7 Russian targets, including 4 Iranian-made drones. Details of the daily assessment have not been independently verified, and Newsweek has contacted the Russian Defense Ministry for comment. It came as Britain's Ministry of Defense said on Friday that over the past 3 days Ukrainian forces had secured a bridge in Kharkiv Oblast on the eastern bank of the Oskil River, which Russia was trying to integrate into a consolidated line of defense after its troops withdrew earlier in September. Defense officials said Ukrainian forces attacked the town of Lyman, east of the Donetsk-Seversky River, which Russia seized in May. However, Sinyhubov, the governor of Kharkiv, wrote in Telegram that Russian troops continue to terrorize the civilian population on its territory by shelling settlements adjacent to the contact line and the border with Russia. He said 2 children were among the 3 people injured in the shooting. On Wednesday, Vladimir Putin announced a partial mobilization to step up his flagging invasion in which his troops had to withdraw after Ukraine's counterattack. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said 300,000 reservists would be called in despite reports that the number wanted would be much higher. Video widely shared on social media shows men bidding farewell in tears in a small town in the Sakha Republic, in Russia's Far East, before being loaded onto buses to be taken to military training. The mobilizations have sparked the biggest protests in Russia since the start of the war and have seen more than 1,300 people arrested in 38 cities. While voting begins in Russian-controlled territory of Ukraine on a referendum to become part of Russia, Moscow-backed officials there said that on Friday Ukrainian and UN officials reported evidence of war crimes during the nearly 7-month war in Ukraine. The Kremlin-orchestrated referendum, widely denounced by Ukraine and the West as a sham without the force of law, is seen as a step towards Russia's annexation of territory. Voting was held in Luhansk, Kherson, and parts of the Russian-controlled Zaporizhzhia and Donetsk regions. The governor of the Kharkiv region, most of whom were detained by Russian forces before Ukraine's counteroffensive this month, reported Friday that 436 bodies had been exhumed from a mass burial site in the eastern city of Izium, 30 of them with visible signs of torture. Governor Sinyhubov and the region's police chief, Volodymyr Timoshko, told reporters in Izium that 3 more graves had been found in areas recaptured by Ukrainian forces. As voting took place in the occupied territories, Russian social media sites were full of dramatic scenes of families crying farewell to men departing from a military mobilization center. In cities across the sprawling country, men hug their crying family members before leaving as part of military service. Russian anti-war activists, meanwhile, are planning more protests against the mobilization. Election officials will take ballots to people's homes and set up emergency polling stations near residential buildings during the first 4 days of the referendum, according to Russian-appointed officials in the occupied territories, citing security reasons. Tuesday will be the only day when voters will be invited to come to the regular polls. Polls have also been opened in Russia, where refugees from the occupied territories can cast their ballots.